Here's what's headed your way tonight on the News at 9.
The Crawford County Health Department currently has coronavirus vaccines that they can't use or send to where they're supposed to be going. I'm Zach Dodge with Why.
And we'll hear from a Joplin woman who lost her husband to COVID-19 and is urging others to take precautions. Plus, Jasper County swears in officials from the November election, and Fort Scott taking action on the Union Lofts development project. Doug Heddy's got your forecast. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. 100 coronavirus vaccines in southeast Kansas are sitting currently unused. Now, last week, the Crawford County Health Department received Moderna coronavirus vaccines. Many of them were supposed to be going to other health departments in the area, but they haven't. KOAM's Zach Dodge has why.
You might remember last week when we told you that the Crawford County Health Department received 200 doses of Moderna vaccine.
It is exciting. It's a great Christmas present.
That's what Health Department Director Janice Godecke said last Wednesday during an interview about it. Since then, we've learned the department actually received 300 doses, but not all of them will stay there.
Initially, we received 300 doses, so we have 50 going to each of the Cherokee, Labatt, and Montgomery County. So that leaves us now with 150 doses.
Godecke says that the state named Crawford County Health Department a distribution hub, explaining they will get the vaccines first, then send them to the other departments in the area. Montgomery counties have been sent, but Cherokee and Labatt's are still sitting in Pittsburgh.
You know, with the government, there's always a little red tape and a little paperwork, so we're completing the paperwork on that, and as soon as they get the paperwork completed, we will be distributing those vaccines to them.
But Cherokee County Sheriff David Groves, who also serves as the county PIO, explains the vaccines should have come directly to them.
It was never intended to go from Topeka or wherever it came from, KDHE, to Crawford County. It was always meant to go from Topeka to Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas. That didn't happen, obviously.
He explains the original plan was for Cherokee County's allocation to go to CHC SEK in Baxter Springs, since they're already signed up as a vaccine provider. So we reached out to KDHE for clarification on the plan. They say they're working with local partners for redistribution, but won't go into specifics regarding sites or the situation. For now, both Crawford and Cherokee County are doing what they can to get vaccines where they need to go.
Community Health is was the designated receiver of that vaccine. It will get to them. In the meantime, they have vaccine on hand, and so this does not provide allow for a gap in services to those who need it.
In Crawford and Cherokee counties, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
The Labette County Health Department director says they have submitted paperwork to KDHE so they can get their allocation. Now, they're just waiting to hear back. The Newton County Health Department is reporting the death of a 20-year-old woman who had COVID-19. Her death and the death of an 80-year-old man bring the county's total to 66. The Joplin Health Department is reporting its 90th death. They say the patient was an 85-year-old man. And the Neosho County Health Department in Kansas is reporting another COVID-19 death. This latest death brings the county's total to 12. And as we continue to keep you updated on what's happening in our area with the pandemic, we also wanted to give a voice to those who have lost loved ones to the virus. KOAM's Caitlin Shive shares the story of a local woman who recently lost her husband.
Mary Jo Martin and her husband Doug were married for 33 years.
He's that calm, flat, that steady person, that rock person that everybody depends on.
Doug suffered from Huntington's disease and reoccurring bouts of cancer, which made him even more vulnerable to contracting COVID-19. But Mary Jo did what she could to protect the both of them.
Started out with, I've got a UV light that disinfects your phones. I've got a UV wand that can disinfect anything else. Lots of hand sanitizer, that's the biggie. All kinds of different sprays and wipes and stuff, decontaminating everything.
However, in October, she developed viral myocarditis, but her COVID-19 tests were negative. 2 weeks later, she and Doug started showing symptoms of a cold.
I was in the hospital, so God knows what I was exposed to. But also with him going in and out of the cancer center every week for chemotherapy, you can't disinfect every single surface that people are going to come in contact with. It's just impossible to do it. That's why it's so important that everybody take the precautions that we need.
They believed their cold symptoms were that of just a cold, until Doug started to get worse and ended up testing positive for COVID and being hospitalized. His condition continued to decline.
And he actually used the word abandonment because he's so used to me being there. Things continued to progress downhill. He went into the intensive care unit. So we had to have the discussion whether he wanted to go on the ventilator or not, and he chose not to. So he passed on the 10th of December.
A loss that has left her with despair, but also a determination to make others see how serious this virus is.
It's been hard. And I want to make sure that it doesn't happen to somebody else. Him being hospitalized for the COVID was the worst thing in my life because he needed me and I couldn't be there with him. I don't want other people to have to go through that.
She is urging others to take precautions.
I was hoping that by actually putting a face to one of the COVID deaths and maybe having other people actually put faces to them, that it might make people think a little bit more than it's just not a number, it's actual people.
In Joplin, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
You can find more on this story on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Turning to weather, I understand we've got some changes on the way, Doug.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way, at least over the next couple days. We've already gotten some rain, even mixed with a little bit of snow in our northern counties this morning, and then everybody else just rain, then just cloudy skies during the afternoon. We did warm with a warm front up to about 54 degrees, but rain working back in for us tonight, especially after midnight, moderate, even heavy rain at times. You can see it developing in our northwestern counties, and this is going to push in, continue to work through all night long, but as colder air starts to filter in, that could mix with or even change over to some snow during the daytime hours for us tomorrow, mainly mid to late morning into the early afternoon. Does not look like a huge deal, but we're going to talk about that, plus another system on New Year's Eve here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you. The Fort Scott City Commission today voted to accept a quitclaim deed for the Union Lofts development project. A quitclaim deed is a legal instrument that allows a person or entity, in this case the city of Fort Scott, to release a title. This means that the city has released the deed to Flint Hills Holdings and now is not responsible for any liabilities or money owed on the property.
A warranty deed would be coming at a later date once the property is been improved. It's a parking lot, and right now they're using that for not only construction of the building but some utility work that's taken place.
The Union Lofts project will convert the old Union Block building into low-income apartments. It's official for a number of newly and re-elected Jasper County officials. A group of officials were sworn in today at the courthouse in Joplin. Among them, Sheriff Randy Kaiser. This isn't the first go-around for the sheriff. In fact, this is his third time. He says he has a secret that helps him maintain his position. That's having an understanding of the responsibility that comes with the job.
Citizens of Jasper County have endorsed me as the sheriff, and I appreciate that responsibility that comes with that, and I plan to live up to their expectations of what they want.
Commissioner Tom Flanagan, Treasurer Denise Rohr, Public Administrator Angie Kashavesha, and Coroner Rob Chappell were all sworn in today. East Newton head coach Kyle Fields becomes the winningest coach in program history. The Patriots beat Monette 69-42 on Monday, giving Fields his 85th win as head coach in East Newton. His overall record at East Newton now stands at 85 wins and 59 losses in a little more than 5 seasons. The previous program record of 84 wins was set by Mark Branscombe in 1995. Fields is in his second stint as head coach at East Newton. He says the school has been a great fit, and a ton of the credit goes to the players who have come through the Patriots program.
It means a lot. You know, East Newton's been so good to me. It's a great place, and there's a lot of, good coaches that came, way before me that, had a huge stamp on the program, and a lot of mentors to me, and it means a lot. But our kids, I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for them, and they've been a big part of this for sure.
Now, East Newton is 9-1 on the season and ranked number 10 in the state in Class 4. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes, Sergeant Logan Dively. The Coffeyville native served in Iraq with the Army from 2003 to 2013 and participated in Operation Iraqi Freedom. We are proud to recognize Sergeant Logan Dively, tonight's four-state hero. And of course, remember, to view a hero anytime, or if you'd like to nominate one of your own, all you need to do is head to our website, which is KOAMnewsnow.com. We've got more news coming your way, including a look at today's Fox Business Brief, and later in the show, the latest on the stimulus debate in the Senate.
Well, we had kind of a crazy day for us today. Cold start, had a little bit of rain during the morning hours. Warm front shifts through. We jump into the 50s, just cloudy skies all afternoon. Now we have a cold front that is going to roll through, or is actually starting to shift through as we speak, and that's what we'll see throughout the overnight hours tonight. Great time-lapse Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. All right, we've got the south winds, most of us upper 40s to near 50. You can see that wind shift line in our northern counties. That is the cold front that is going to work through the region for us tonight. That will continue to drop our temperatures off. Looking outside from the station, currently sitting at 49, south winds at about 10, humidity is at 74%. We had a little bit of rain this morning, but the heaviest rain now building back to our west, right along the I-35 corridor, all the way down into eastern parts of Oklahoma. And all of this is heading toward us as we work through the overnight hours tonight. You can see most of the Missouri side, Arkansas, Oklahoma side, and extreme southeastern Kansas still dry. But once you get from Fort Scott over towards Chanute, Independence points westward, that's where we are seeing the showers, the moderate, even some pockets of heavy rain, which is starting to pick up. As we look out across the southwestern parts of the U.S., that's our next storm system that is going to head toward us on New Year's Eve. This is going to slide out southern parts of Texas, and then it's going to shift into central Texas on New Year's Eve. Then it's going to take a left turn or turn toward the north. Question is exactly where is it going to track? It looks like it'll track right on top of us, which does not put us in the best situation for wintry weather. Wintry weather likes to hang out on the west side, the northwest side of the area of low pressure, but still close enough that we could get some wintry weather from it Thursday night into Friday morning. So two systems we've got to keep our eyes on. For us tonight, we'll see the rain increasing, especially after midnight. Pockets moderate, maybe even some heavy amounts of rain. Here 6 a.m., could see a few flakes of snow mixing in at this point in time. And then I think mid to late morning, we will see a big chunk of us that see a rain-snow mix or even briefly switch over to kind of moderate wet snow. Now our temperatures are going to be above freezing, so I don't expect much problems, at least on the roadways, but it could turn a little white out there as we head through the mid to late morning hours. Most of this pushes out of here by tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures actually drop back through the day. 38 in the morning, 35 by noon, and then we'll drop back to about 33 by 4 p.m. Then tomorrow night looks pretty good into Thursday ahead of our next storm system, which is going to move in Thursday night. All right, snowfall. Again, we're going to be above freezing. If we can get that switch over, we could get some minor accumulations on the grassy surfaces, an inch or less, as we work into late tomorrow. So we'll watch that. Also, rainfall amounts. This system's going to drop some decent amounts of rain. A lot of us, a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain. So something we'll watch closely as we work through the daytime hours tomorrow. 38 tomorrow, 37 on New Year's Eve with that rain, freezing rain, sleet moving back in Thursday night. Drying out, but staying cool through the weekend.
See, this kind of winter weather is the type I like, where we get a nice looking snow without it messing up the roads. I can take that.
Yeah, and some of us are going to have that tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it, Doug. Thank you. Well, coming up, we've got a look at the latest in the world of business in our Fox Business Brief.
Tomorrow on Fox.
After nearly 2 years since its grounding, the Boeing 737 MAX resumes commercial air traffic in the United States, and Lyft will offer 60 million discounted rides for Americans who want to get vaccinated. Fox's CJ Papa has these stories and more in today's Fox Business Briefs.
After nearly 2 years of safety concerns, Boeing's 737 MAX returns to the sky. On Tuesday, American Airlines used the jet for commercial service between Miami and New York City. This comes just 1 month after the Federal Aviation Administration cleared the plane for passenger flights once again. Boeing has made wiring fixes and updated the flight control system that was partially to blame for 2 crashes in 2018 and 2019. Meanwhile, Tesla is heading to India. The automaker says it will begin operations in the Asian nation in early 2021. In recent years, CEO Elon Musk has shown interest in expanding Tesla's brand in the world's second most populated market. The news comes just after the car maker officially joined the S&P 500 for trading. And Lyft is set to offer more than 60 million free or discounted rides for Americans to get vaccinated in the coming months. The ride-sharing service says they will focus on giving these rides to uninsured, at-risk, and low-income communities in the U.S. Lyft President John Zimmer described the news as an opportunity to use our collective strength to mobilize on a massive scale. For more, log on to foxbusiness.com. I'm CJ Papa.
Well, if you plan on returning a gift this holiday season, businesses are prepared. Now, this morning on the KOAM Morning News, Jesse Irwin spoke with Academy Sports to find out how. So while big box stores across the country see larger sales numbers than any other time of the year during the holidays, they also recognize that those numbers are not final. Businesses have adjusted their return policies, something they typically do during the holiday season. However, chains like Academy Sports say the expectation for returns isn't necessarily bad for business.
As far as business, what it does for us is obviously a lot, the more foot traffic we have, typically the more we sell. So after that holiday period, you've got people coming in to return things or exchange things, and while they're on the sales floor, they may find something they would like.
CBRE anticipates holiday goods worth as much as $70.5 billion could be returned in the U.S. this year, almost 1/3 of the projected total holiday sales. We have the return policies for a handful of corporate chains on our morning show page at KOAMnewsnow.com, along with some tips for making sure you don't run into any problems when you go to make your holiday returns. Well, just ahead,
some hospitals struggle to keep up with the surge of new COVID-19 infections. I'm Anita Vogel in Los Angeles, and I'll have the details coming up.
Getting a flu.
nationwide, we're averaging 200,000 new coronavirus infections per day. Some hospitals in hard-hit California are trying to make space for a growing number of critical care patients. The latest surge comes as another COVID-19 vaccine begins phase 3 trials. Fox News correspondent Anita Vogel has more.
New coronavirus infections continuing to climb across the country. The U.S. reporting more than 120,000 hospitalizations on Monday, the highest since the pandemic began. In Los Angeles County, the latest surge is straining the healthcare system. The LA Times reporting some hospitals have been forced to temporarily halt ambulance arrivals and turn gift shops into makeshift treatment rooms. Area hospitals are also making plans to ration care if the surge continues.
They've activated some of the triage officers where I work, which means that they are on call to help with making some of these decisions.
Public health officials say it could be several weeks before we see a post-holiday wave of cases. They're once again issuing warnings to stay home for the New Year's holiday. Instead, encouraging people to host virtual countdowns and opt for to-go meals.
I'm going to have 3 cocktails to go and still my cocktail kits where you can either have that pre-made or it's kind of a really fun activity to do on New Year's Eve.
A lot of hope is riding on several vaccines to end this latest surge. Novavax is beginning a phase 3 trial in the U.S. with plans to enroll 30,000 people across 115 sites. The company completed enrollment for its UK late-stage trial last month.
It's promising, and I think we're going to probably see the results culminate sometime in the mid-spring.
The CDC says so far more than 2 million vaccines have been administered. In Los Angeles, Anita Vogel, Fox News.
Well, up next, how a homeless man became a hero in Atlanta. This is the KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
4 states
in Jasper County.
A homeless man in Atlanta being hailed a hero, saving more than a dozen animals from a burning shelter. Fox's Rob D'Arienzo has the inspiring story.
6 dogs and 10 cats are likely alive today, all thanks to the actions of Keith Walker. Now, the 53-year-old man who is homeless saw the building on fire and jumped right into action.
The house is on fire, so I see a crowbar and all the dogs is in the house.
The fire started in the kitchen area of the shelter on December 18th and quickly filled the entire building with smoke. The animals locked inside their cages, helpless, including Keith's own dog, Bravo.
I like Bravo in there, though. Bravo in there.
Walker said he busted in, got Bravo, then went back in and unlocked all of the animals' cages as the fire spread.
He helped me find the rest of them dogs that was in there, because I didn't know.
He rushed in to save his dog and then went ahead and saved them all.
Grace Hamlin is the founder of Wonder Dogs. She said it's because of Walker's actions that all of the animals made it out safely. The building was damaged, but luckily the shelter was already in the process of moving. Hamlin said she's known Keith for years and was relieved he was there.
What Keith did was so brave, and I teach these kids to be brave every day. So knowing that somebody has it in them, no matter where they come from, he rushed in there for his own life at risk to save our animals in this program. And I can't say enough how grateful I am to him.
Hamlin said donations are flooding in to help Keith, but they're trying to find the best way to help him as he continues to battle addiction. He said if he had to do it all over again, he'd do it in a heartbeat.
The U.S. Department of Commerce is investing $1.6 million to help grow the plastics industry in Pittsburgh. The money will be used for equipment for the National Institute of Materials Advancement at the Kansas Polymer Research Center at PSU. The Department of Commerce says the grant will help create 50 jobs, retain 25, and generate $2 million in private investment. More news coming your way.
President-elect Joe Biden is not impressed with the Trump administration's vaccine rollout, and he wants to pick up the pace. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington with that story coming up.
Investigators continue to try and determine a motive in the Christmas Day explosion that shook Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Charles Watson, and I've got the details coming up.
Fox.
A Noel mosque badly damaged by fire is getting some help from neighbors. The Islamic Society of Joplin is raising funds on Facebook to help the mosque rebuild. The fundraiser's goal is $100,000. The Noel Mosque and African grocery store were badly damaged by a fire yesterday morning. Investigators do not believe the fire is suspicious. Investigators are still trying to determine the motive behind the Christmas Day explosion in Nashville, Tennessee. Meanwhile, dramatic police body cam video shows what officers faced when they rushed in after the blast. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson has the latest from Nashville.
A police officer's body camera showing the moments after an explosion shook downtown Nashville.
Where's your car? Okay, go to your car.
The chaos came just moments after an RV played an audio message saying a bomb would detonate. People in Nashville are thanking officers for going door to door telling them to evacuate.
2 angels showed up on our doorstep Christmas morning and happened to be in police officers' uniforms.
63-year-old Anthony Warner is accused in the explosion. He died in the blast. 3 people were injured. The ATF and FBI continue to process evidence at the scene. They also say they're still trying to determine a motive.
Motive is one of those things that
it is difficult to determine when you don't have the suspect to talk to.
The Associated Press reports Warner told a neighbor just days before the blast, quote, "Nashville in the world is never going to forget me." The neighbor, Rick Lauld, says he didn't think much of the comment at the time. The FBI searched a home connected to Warner looking for clues. Investigators are also trying to see if the AT&T building was targeted. Warner's father was a former employee.
We're trying to determine that, the piece of information about his father being a former employee, that certainly gives us an area to look at.
Investigators say they were able to tie Warner to the blast site using DNA. In Nashville, Tennessee, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Investigators are reportedly looking into whether Warner had paranoia over 5G technology and if this contributed to the blast. President-elect Joe Biden says he has a 5-point plan to beat COVID-19. He's urging Americans to wear masks and take aim at the Trump administration for the pace of the vaccine rollout effort. Fox News chief congressional correspondent Mike Emanuel has more.
The vice president-elect getting the vaccine.
I barely felt it. I barely felt it.
Kamala Harris receiving a first dose of the Moderna shot Tuesday, a week after President-elect Joe Biden got a dose of the Pfizer vaccine.
Things are going to get worse before they get better. Turning this around is going to take time.
But the incoming president says at this point they are the lucky few, and he came before cameras Tuesday to slam the Trump administration for what he says has been a slow rollout.
The Trump administration's plan to distribute vaccines is falling behind, far behind. It's going to take years, not months, to vaccinate the American people.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, more than 2 million Americans have received their first shots, and more than 11 million doses have been distributed. President Trump's coronavirus testing czar says the vaccine will be moving out by the millions in the months ahead. I spoke with him on Fox News Sunday.
Even with just the vaccines we have right now, we still expect that any American who wants a vaccine can be vaccinated by June.
President-elect Joe Biden has set a goal to have 100 million Americans get their first shots during his first 100 days in office.
As part of the 100-day challenge, I'm going to be asking the American people to wear a mask for the first 100 days of my administration. It's not a political statement. It's a patriotic duty.
Despite the vaccine, coronavirus concerns have forced a change in plans for President-elect Biden on Inauguration Day. The traditional luncheon held at the Capitol in honor of the new president after the swearing in has been canceled. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Well, don't go anywhere. We've got more news and your forecast still ahead, plus a look at how New York is taking on COVID-19 vaccine fraud. Well, in the age of technology, a few technical difficulties can be expected, so we'll have Doug Heddy hopefully back for our 10 o'clock show. Right now, we'll take a look at that forecast. As you can see, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, that time lapse, those clouds built in, they stuck around pretty much all day long. Now take a look out in southeast Kansas. You can see the wind arrows there. There they are. More technical difficulties. We'll get there. That's a cold front that is wanting to move through the area. And as it does, it's going to be bringing us some rain chances. As we look here, there's that cold front with the rain showers, thunderstorms, a few of those, heavy rain off to our west. Nothing too major, but we could get quite a bit of rain. In fact, we could even see some snow. So here's the bigger picture. You can see heavier rain out in Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, around Oklahoma City, starting to line up with that I-44 corridor as it continues to track off to the west. As it does so, again, bringing those rain shower chances, and then the temperatures are going to be the next issue as to determine what we're actually going to see precipitation-wise. Now, we've been warm. We got a warm front that moved through, brought our temperatures up. So right now, as you can see, it's mostly rain in southeastern Kansas, and for the most part, it's expected to stay that way. We've got this upper level low, we've got this storm system down out southwest, and it's wanting to bring in this storm system. It's an interesting setup that we have here. So right now, it's looking like it's going to go ahead and just follow it on through and just park itself almost right on top of us. So if you like the winter weather, could be an issue as the winter weather may decide to stay off to our northwest and up to the north around this low, but you never know. Showers and thunderstorms, taking a look. This is around midnight. The rain's going to kind of overtake the area. Temperatures starting to cool off. Could be some pockets of heavy to moderate rain, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder out there. And as we get into early tomorrow morning, you can see that pink on there. That's where we could see some snow mixed in, depending on where temperatures get. For the most part, we should remain above freezing. So any snow that we get, even if it comes down in a moderate fashion, shouldn't really stick that much to the roads, but we could see around a trace to maybe even an inch of accumulation on the grassy surfaces. As it moves on through by the afternoon, it warms back up, should transition back to rain, shouldn't be that big of an issue for us. Taking a look too at the temperatures, as you can see, not warming up very much as we move through the day on Wednesday after that cold front pushes through. And look at that, getting below freezing by Thursday morning, and cloud cover builds in, and down south you can see that storm system moving its way back up here. Now we start to warm up, and so that means we may see more rain. Snow-wise, we could see minor accumulations, as we mentioned, maybe an inch on grassy surfaces. Shouldn't cause too much of a problem for us. Rain, on the other hand, we could see from half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, even up to near an inch of rain in northeast Oklahoma out of this system. Still not, so it's definitely something worth watching, especially with the temperatures. So there you see, Wednesday, rain. That's going to be about it. We get into the New Year's Eve holiday, we could still see some more rain showers, maybe even some snow. Still cool into the weekend, but then take a look at Monday, warming back up into the 50s. So again, not too shabby for this time of year, but still something to watch over the next couple of days. Well, still ahead.
The effort to approve $2,000 relief checks fails in the Senate. I'm Ray Bogan on Capitol Hill with a look at who blocked the effort coming up. Join us for News
14.
A showdown in the Senate. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blocked a push from Democrats to increase the size of those direct payments to Americans by $1,400. McConnell did say there would be a process to bring the proposal into focus. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan reports from Washington.
There's one question left today. Do Senate Republicans join with the rest of America in supporting $2,000 checks?
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer tried approving $2,000 relief checks this afternoon. He got his answer moments later.
Object.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blocked the fast-tracked effort. It was a long shot for Schumer, who tried getting approval without a full Senate vote. The extra checks would cost $463 billion.
So I don't want to hear it that it costs too much to help working families get a check when they're struggling to keep their jobs.
Schumer says all Senate Democrats support the checks. That includes Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, who received her first dose of the Moderna vaccine today.
A while back, I recommended that folks receive a $2,000 check. And so I would urge Mitch McConnell to put my bill on the floor for a vote.
McConnell says the $900 billion relief package signed by President Trump over the weekend will provide needed relief.
This bipartisan compromise was our shot at getting help to working families on the urgent timeline that they need.
President Trump agrees with Schumer. He tweeted, "Unless Republicans have a death wish, and it is also the right thing to do, they must approve the $2,000 payments ASAP." The House approved the checks Monday, and President Trump says he'll sign the bill, so the final hurdle to getting it approved remains in the Senate. On Capitol Hill, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
And we're back with more news right after this. New York is cracking down on COVID-19 vaccine fraud as an investigation into one clinic gets underway. This comes as states prepare for another round of vaccine shipments. Fox News correspondent Brian Yennis has more.
The coronavirus vaccine rollout is well underway, and states are taking action to prevent fraud. New York Attorney General Letitia James opening an investigation into a Brooklyn-based clinic over allegations it wrongfully distributed and administered the Moderna vaccine to the general public. The Park Care Clinic reportedly ignored state plans to prioritize frontline healthcare workers and long-term care residents, though Park Care says it legally acquired the vaccine. Governor Andrew Cuomo signing an executive order to fine healthcare providers up to $1 million if they commit COVID vaccine fraud.
You engage in fraud on this vaccine, we will remove your license to practice in the state of New York.
The CDC says as of Monday, more than 11 million vaccines have been distributed nationwide. Nearly 16 million doses are scheduled to be distributed over the next week.
When you get to the point where you can essentially say anybody and everybody who wants to be vaccinated can be vaccinated, that's when you really turn around the dynamics of the outbreak.
And the vaccines can't come soon enough. Current COVID-19 hospitalizations topping 100,000 for another day on Monday. In Los Angeles County, some hospitals fear they may have to start rationing care.
Every hospital has a scarce resource policy. That's something we've all had in place for years in anticipation and perhaps dread of an event like this.
Public health officials say we could see a post-holiday surge of coronavirus infections in the coming weeks. In New York, Brian Yennis, Fox News.
Well, before we wrap things up for you on this edition of the 9 o'clock news, we're going to take a look back at the year in sports bloopers next. Well, as we get closer to closing out 2020, here's a look back at some sports bloopers of the year.
Now look at this. Oh my gosh. Oh, how about this? This is a bullet right here. Oh!
We have spillage here in Boston. Oh my goodness, that was just awful.
A little bit of good fortune on special teams.
USF just got gift wrapped. Hey, touchdown.
Tried to check in, and it's like, oh my gosh, everybody is like, are you kidding? Get your head in the game.
I mean, he's quick. He gets down that line with good speed. I mean, he stopped abruptly.
About ready to go to work, and you just can't get out of bed. That's what Ben Heller's feeling right here. There he goes.
I don't think I've ever seen the ball hit all three posts.
Stunning.
That would be called the triple doink.
That'll spin your cap right there. Think it got him in the face.
Way out. Just unbearable. I can't bear to watch.
Oh, slippery. That is a full fall.
There it is.
Got it.
What a shot.
I've never done this more than 10, 12, 15 times, right?
Club.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
And punch goes up and absolutely blows the windmill dunk.
Don't get hurt.
Oh, you'd see it coming. He lost cool points. Angling back. He gets there. Whoa! And he just put it right over the fence.
And he is gone. Trying to stay upright, and he trips.
That's so funny.
See, what's bloopers for them is how I would play sports continuously. I'm not very athletic. Well, thankfully, it's why I don't play. That's our time for now. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Our next news time is in just a few minutes over at 10 at KOAM. And then, of course, we'll see you at 7 a.m. here on Fox 14. Have a good night.